Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in this video I want to share with you the 6th game of 1978 Tal vs Kasparov friendly blitz match. Up to this point Tal is winning the match with a score of 3-2. This is game 6 and Kasparov with white pieces opened up with e4, and to everyone's surprise Tal answered with e6, French defense. This is not the opening which Tal is usually choosing, and with this choice he actually wants to say that his opponents can expect anything from him. Knight d2 Tarrasch variation is on the board, c5 open system, e takes d5 and e takes d5. After the game Kasparov told his coach Nikitin that he was expecting queen takes d5, a line which Petrosian was applying successfully, but in the game we see e takes d5, and thus Tal is showing his eagerness of playing with an isolated pawn. Bishop d7, queen e2 check, bishop e7, d takes c5, knight f6, knight b3, black castled kingside, bishop e3. White is developing his pieces and at the same time he is keeping an eye on c5. He's like making an attempt to save it for a while, of course, because that pawn actually belongs black. Knight f3. An alternative is castling queenside. In the game we see knight f3, a6, bishop d3, and I have to tell you that up to this point the players are pretty much following the main theoretical line, and this bishop a4 is also a popular move. The short-term goal of which is to remove the defender and win this pawn. Knight f d4, knight b d7, but looks like that Tal is not interested in giving up his light squared bishop this early, and he decided to still keep the bishop pairs. He won the knight with the knight, and then an exchange on c5 followed. Queen f3, knight e4, rook a d1. We have an equal game, nothing special. Bishop takes d4. At this point Tal is surrendering his bishop pair, but there was no need for it, you know. Engine has different ideas, suggests rook c8 or queen c7. Instead, queen b6 can be played as well. But in the game we see bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, queen g5, rook fe1, rook a c8, b3, bishop goes back on c6, queen e3. Well, queen h3 could allow white to maintain nice attacking chances, but Kasparov decided to offer an exchange of queens. Getting rid of a Tal's queen is always a good idea, you know. That gives him nice attacking chances, and strangely at this point Tal accepted the offer of exchange of queens. In his turn he could keep alive the queens and play a move like queen h4, but he hurried with an exchange of queens like in the last two games, and this is not what we want to see in his games, you know. When Tal has a queen on the board, it's becoming a ferocious weapon, while once again we will see that in the end game Kasparov is prevailing. g4, rook e6. White has a nice bishop pair, and now is starting a pawn push on the king side, which will allow him to create weaknesses in his opponent's camp. Knight g7, h takes g6, h takes g6, rook h1, and now the rook can penetrate the 6th rank, targeting some pawns. b5, a takes b5. Well, a5 is an alternative followed by rook h6, but in the game we see a takes b5, bishop takes b5, bishop takes b5. According to Stockfish, keeping alive the light squared bishop and playing c4 is better, but in the game we see bishop takes b5. So this is move 32, and I have to tell you that from move 30 on already the players were in a serious time trouble and they were blitzing out. So now white wants to intrude inside opponent's camp from the a file. Meanwhile, Kasparov is centralizing his king, and only then is coming after the pawn on b5. White has a very active position, and soon black will find himself in trouble. This bishop is very strong, he is keeping together white's position while gradually white is intensifying the pressure. Oops, there comes the rook. And now, by penetrating opponent's camp, the fifth rank, this time from the e-file, white is managing to find more targets and is winning a pawn. Black's position is hopelessly lost, you know. The pawn on f5 also dropped, a desperate check. And then the pawn on b5 dropped as well, and at this point we have a resignation. Yeah, once again I have to tell you that I'm really not satisfied the way Tal played. He played actually very weakly, and without much efforts Kasparov managed to beat the champion, thus equalizing the score. It looks like that Kasparov managed to find a perfect strategy. He is avoiding complex positions, is not allowing his opponent to create an attack, is going for an early exchange of queens, and is prevailing in the endgame. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to find the winning line for white. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Feel free to check out my earlier uploads as well. We'll see you in my next video.